everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Sarah Dawson, and for those of you who are returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and being a part of my family. I love you all very much. So happy new year everybody, it's 2024! Today we are talking about our December reading recap. Doo-doo. The books that I read in December. I estimated that I was going to read 3 books in December and I read 4. So I was kind of proud of myself because of that, so go me. And the books that I all read, they were really little books. They were all like maybe 400 pages max. Actually, I think this one's a bit bigger. But anyway, they weren't long books by any means. Still, I was proud of myself because I reached a goal plus surpassed it, which is nice. So we're going to talk about the books that I read this year. I'm going to talk about how I rated them, the spice levels, how I felt about the book overall, whether I would recommend it. We're going to talk about, yeah, that's pretty much it. You've probably watched a book recommendation before, or a reading recap, you know, so you know the drill. Anyway, let's just get started because I am rambling. So the first book that I read in December was a first for me on 2 fronts because it was the first Tessa Bailey book that I ever read, and it was the first Christmas book that I've ever read. So this book is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. This book was interesting to me because it was the first romance book that I'd read in quite some time. I'd been very deep into my fantasy. I'd read all of ACOTAR, all of Crescent City, and all of Fourth Wing, and then I jumped into this. So the main 2 things that I have to say about this is that I felt like it was a bit fast paced. But again, it's only 400 pages, if that, 350 pages, and I've come off, you know, like Big Daddy books, so of course it's gonna feel fast paced for me personally. And I was so shocked. I never read anything by Tessa Bailey. I don't really know anything about Tessa Bailey's books apart from the fact that people like them. So boy was I shocked when this pretty little, you know, wholesome cartoon cover was so spicy. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was so spicy. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, but I just was shocked that I didn't expect it from this book. Like, I didn't expect my cute little wholesome Christmas read to be, you know, bending me over the bed, you know? So I was a little bit surprised by that. But I gave this book a 3.5 stars out of 5. I really liked it. It was a good little Christmas read. I wouldn't say it was so much as a Christmas book, but it was a book set at Christmas time.
And don't start with me on that because I have a whole thing about Christmas movies and which ones are Christmas movies and which ones are movies set at Christmas time, but we're not getting into that today.
So yeah, I did like this book. I have no bad words against it. I don't think that it was anything to write home about. I'm not gonna be like, you have to read this book for Christmas because it's the best book, you know what I mean? Like, it was just fine. It was fine. I liked it. I liked the characters, Melody and Beat, cute little play on words. Their mums are rock stars. So it's like kind of rock star romance adjacent. Their mums are rock stars in a band that split up, and they were born after the band split up, and they never really got to meet, but they've kind of always been linked together in the media because of their mums. And they decide over Christmas time, for reasons that I will not tell you about because that will spoil it, that they're gonna get the band back together. And it follows them on a reality show, trying to get the band back together and, you know, meeting each other for the first time but feeling that they already have shared experiences. Anyway, I will not tell you anymore. It is very cute. Obviously, it's about out of season now if you decide to read it. I still recommend it. Like, I still recommend read it. It's worth the read. Like, if you want a little, like, read to just, like, get your mind off things, which was what I needed because I needed to get out of fantasy, it was good. No bad words. 3.5 stars. In terms of spice, I can't even think. In terms of spice, I'm going to give it a 3 because there were 2 pretty raunchy scenes and a lot of like innuendos and talk of, you know, spicy stuff in between. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for spice, and yeah, I recommend it. The next book that I read in December was a very highly anticipated one for me. I was very excited about it. I have been waiting for it, And then when it finally came out, I was in the middle of my Sarah J. Maas binge, so I didn't get to read it when it came out. But this is The Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This book, I've been waiting for this one. I have been waiting for this one, and it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. Oh my god. Okay, so this is Lucy Score's Knock 'Em Out series. The last and final book in the Knock 'Em Out series. It is an interconnected standalone series based in a small town about two brothers and their best friend and the girls that they meet along the way. This one follows Lucian and Salome, and they are the final couple in the book. They have been highly anticipated. They do not like each other. It's been throughout the whole series that we've known that they do not like each other, but we don't know why. So we've been waiting for this book. Enemies to lovers, small town romance, second chance romance, childhood best friends to enemies to lovers. Ah, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. The perfect way to end this trilogy. Honestly, first one, 5 stars. Second one, 4 stars. If I could give it more than 5, I would. I just adored this book. I adore Lucian. I love Salome. She's so relatable. That girl has ADHD, but she's also a reader, and she is me. Like, I loved her. And yeah, just package me up and send me a Lucian, please. I need him. It was just perfect. I just really, really, really liked it. I can't say anything more. Like, there is nothing more that I can say about it. Give it a 5 stars. It's perfectly wholesome. It's perfectly spicy. The spice was like actually so good. I feel like it was perfectly interwoven into here, and it was like the right amount of spice for me because I loved Lucian. I think when I don't like the male main character, then I don't like the spice so much, but I loved him, so I didn't care. He could be naked the entire book and I wouldn't have cared. So I'm giving this a 3.5 spice. 5 stars, 3.5 spice. Read this book. You don't even have to read the other ones. Like, they're interconnected standalone, so they do stand on their own. You don't have to read the other two. I recommend reading the other two because I love Knock 'Em Out. I want to live there. I want to be involved in the community. So I think it's a fun series to get yourself into. And I think you'll really like the community. I think you'll like the brothers. I think you'll like all the characters. They're fun. The side characters are fun. And yeah, I definitely recommend reading this one if you're not going to read the other two though. The next book that I read in December was interesting. I have mixed feelings. I have really mixed feelings about this book. This is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. First off, it's YA. So I haven't read a YA novel in quite some time. I just didn't know it's not what I expected it to be. I had no prior knowledge on this book apart from the fact that I heard it was sad. I didn't know what was coming. I didn't know any of it. It's written very cringy. Like, a lot of it's very cringy. It's very rose-colored glasses. It's very heightened and borderline unrealistic to what would happen in this situation. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to give anything away if you don't know anything about it. But basically, it's second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers. It is sad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cringe and it's written to be heightened and kind of unrealistic, but it is sad. Like, it made me bawl. This won my 2023 book that made me cry the most. If I cried into a bucket the entire time, I think I would have had like a liter. Like, there's a video on my TikTok if you would like to see me crying about it, but yes. So, I have mixed reviews. Honestly, the end really, really did this one dirty. Like, while the book was cringy and I wasn't super invested the whole time, like I kind of felt like it was repeating itself a lot, I still liked it. Like, I still didn't dislike it. And then there was a final chapter that just like ruined everything. It was so unnecessary. It was so opposite to the moral of the story. Like, the moral of the story had been drilled into you so hard. And it ended and then had a beautiful note. And then it had another chapter and it ruined everything. So honestly, I don't know where to sit with this one. I feel like I want to give it 2.5 stars, but I kind of am leaning towards 3 because for a lot. If I hadn't have read that last chapter, it would have been 3 stars. But that last chapter really makes me want to take off one. There is like there's no spice. Like, they allude to the idea of them having, you know what I mean? Like if it was a movie, it's like the lights go dark. So I'm gonna not even bother, like maybe half a chili pepper. Like there's not spice in this book. I'm also a very high rater of books because I just like them. I like books. I'm easily drawn in. But yeah, if you feel like crying your eyes out and reading something YA, this is for you. So those were the 3 books that I had set myself to read for December. They were the ones that I had intended to read. I had, you know, set it up for myself. I was like, I'm gonna read 3 books in December because I'm gonna be busy. They're what I'm gonna read. Then I finished 1,000 Boy Kisses and I was like, how do I move on from this? Like, I'm so upset because of the book. It's a sad book. I'm so upset because of the way that it ended. It just made it so much worse. Like, it just, like, say it ripped out my soul. It just, like, dug in and scooped around where the soul had been and ripped that out too. Like, it didn't leave me with a nice, like, oh, I just finished a book feeling. Or even, like, a nice, like, oh, I wish I could read that book again feeling. It just left me feeling funky. So I was like, now it's time for a reread of my Roman Empire. So my final book that I read in 2023 was The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I first read this book in 2021 when I had COVID, and I adore this book. I love this book. I love Calla. I love Jonah. I love her father. I love Bangor, Alaska, even though I found out recently because I finally read the freaking acknowledgements that that place doesn't exist. It's made up. It's based off a place, but it's a made up place. I'm like, I want to go to Bangor, Alaska. It doesn't freaking exist. Anyway, bro, this book, bush pilots, sexy, Viking-looking bush pilots, Jonah. It is small town. It is, she's like ripped from where she lives and she's dumped into a foreign area. She gets a phone call from a woman, and the woman tells her that her father has, this is not a spoiler, her father has cancer and she needs to come to Alaska. So he's about to start treatment and he wants to see her before she goes. She has not seen her dad in 24 years because her mum, Alaska was not for her mum. So they live in Toronto. So she goes over to see him. Anyway, he has this sexy bush pilot, enemies to lovers, and this is a sad book. This is inherently a sad book. Like, she goes over there for sad reasons, but it's beautifully written and it's a beautiful story and it grips you and it's funny and it makes me laugh and it makes me cry. And this is the first book that I like annotated. So this second reread of it, I annotated it. I don't know if you can tell, but clearly I liked it. But yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 star read for me. This is a 2 spice. 5 out of 5 stars, 2 out of 5 spice. This is a good book for me to finish 2023 on. It really rejuvenated the soul after reading this Death Trap. So, yeah. If you're in a slump, or if you need to recover from, you know, a soul-sucking book, read this. It's excellent. It will make you cry, but in like a, not a nice way. It's not nice, but it'll make you cry in like a, I don't know, like a soul rejuvenating cry rather than a soul sucking cry. You know what I mean? Just read it. I love this book. It is a duo. There's a second one and then there's a novella. So I haven't actually read the novella because I've never really been a fan of novellas, but I read this novella and I liked it. So maybe I will give the novella of this a go because I do love these characters and I talk about this book all the time. So yeah, definitely read this. 5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, that was the book that I finished 2023 with, and I have no regrets. So these are the 4 books that I read in December of 2023. I enjoyed all of them. Like, I didn't dislike any of them. This one, obviously, I had a bit of issues with, but for the most part, they were all really good. And I recommend reading 3 out of 4 of them, and 4 out of 4 of them if you want your feelings hurt. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this reading recap. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't forget to turn on the notification bell, like, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. The 2024 goal is to be posting 2 videos on here a month, and I post every single day on my TikTok. And yeah, I love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.